Hey, in this video, we're going to take a look at the DBX286s, which is a microphone preamplifier and audio processor. If you have an XLR microphone, you're going to want to stick around and see what this bad boy could do for you. Okay, so the DBX286s sits between my microphone, which in this case is a Shure SM7B, and my audio interface, which is a Focusrite 2i4. And as I alluded to earlier, it's a two-in-one device in that it has a preamplifier section, and it has a whole other section, which is an audio processor. And you can use one without the other. So if you're intimidated by all the buttons and knobs, you could just use the audio amplifier portion, and it would still be a great value at under $199. What makes the audio amplifier so good is that it provides 60 dB of gain. And like for this microphone actually needs 59 dB of gain. Prior to this, I was using a cloud lifter, which only provided 20 dB of gain. And then I was depending on about 75% of my Focusrite to boost the amplitude up to where I needed to be to get to line level. In this case, I could just let the DBX do all the heavy lifting. And in fact, I do. Right now, I have that thing cranked up to 60 dB. I'm giving it 1 dB more gain than it really needs, but it sounds really good. And I actually have my Focusrite dialed all the way down to 0, essentially. I'm not using that for any amplification whatsoever. But where this thing really shines is when you use the audio processing component. In fact, I have it on right now, and it really allows you to create a studio quality sound in the comfort of your own home, if you will. Don't believe me? Let me show you what happens when I disable the audio processing. Again, my room's not treated. I have computers and disk arrays, lots of fans going on, but you'd think I was in a studio until I turn off the processor. Listen to this. Now I've turned off the audio processing, and if I stop talking for a second, listen to the background noise. That's essentially the sound you get when you amplify your signal, as I am. I'm getting a louder, my voice is coming in louder as a result of using just the amplification portion, but I'm also amplifying the background and the ambient noise, and that's not really desirable. I mean, it's not as good as when I do this. Now listen. I'm going to turn on the processor again. All right, now the processor's on. Listen to this. Dead silence. Beautiful studio quality sound, essentially. Very impressed by that. So I'm going to take you through the various configuration options. The one option, in my opinion, that is the killer feature on this thing is the expander gate. And the expander gate is what allows me to essentially erase my background noise in real time. Now, again, all these things you can do in post-processing, but I'm lazy. I want it all done in real time. I want to make my adjustments. You don't know if I'm going to be live streaming or what, but I want to make sure that my audio quality is pristine right from the get-go. Okay, so this is the expander gate. This is where all the sound suppression magic happens. Basically, what the expander gate does is it allows loud sounds to pass and blocks quieter sounds. Now, it doesn't entirely block them. What it does is it reduces them further, making them less noticeable. Now, the threshold knob determines what volume levels are allowed to pass and where the cutoff is. In my case, I have it set to minus 30 dB. Anything above that, like my voice, which is loud, passes unimpeded through the system. The sounds below 30 dB, like the background noise in my room, is squished down by a ratio of 2:1, making them effectively disappear. The ratio knob is what allows you to control how drastically the quieter sounds are reduced. All right, just for the sake of completeness, I'm going to go over the rest of the adjustment knobs. We're going to start all the way to the left-hand side in the mic preamp section. And as I said earlier, you can run this preamp and just use that without using any of the processing controls. If you were to do that, you have a gain adjustment knob that can go all the way up to 60 dB for an XLR input. If you have a TRS input, that is going to go up to about 45 dB. That's the red letters that you see, or red numbers that you see there. You have a nice level LED display, and that's kind of letting you know what the level looks like as I speak into the mic. This unit will also provide 48 volts of phantom power. My mic does not require it, so I'll keep that off. It also has an 80 hertz high pass filter, and that's really good if, again, you have a lot of humming and low frequency noise in your space. Turning that on will really cut that out and probably prevent you from really having to use the expander gate too much. Of course, the compromise in that is that you will be losing some of the bassiness of your voice because you're going to be stripping that out. And that's essentially the mic preamp. The process bypass switch is what allows you to turn off the audio processing components. So if you just wanted to have the mic preamp, you could press this button, and by enabling it, when that red light indicator pops on, you've disabled the rest of the unit and you're just using it as an amplifier. If you leave it off, as I have it, it'll allow you to use one or more of the remaining processing features. All right, first up on the process block is the compressor. The compressor takes your input signal and tries to keep the variation in loudness minimal. Turning the drive knob to the right increases the amount of compression. The density knob controls how long that compression lasts. Turning the knob to the right shortens the duration of the compression, where turning it to the left, which seems counterintuitive, lengthens the duration of compression. To get a feel for how much compression is occurring at any single time, you can look at the red LED display on the right. Okay, next up is the de-esser, and this is to help prevent you from whistling Dixie when you say things like, "She sells seashells by the seashore." The de-esser has a frequency and threshold adjustment. The frequency adjustment is used to determine what type of S sounds should be ignored. I have mine set to 2.5 kilohertz, so essentially any high-pitched sounds are going to essentially be ignored, where anything under that frequency is going to be scrutinized. The threshold adjustment is essentially a sensitivity control. The more you turn it to the right, the more sensitive this component will be. The enhancer adds clarity and detail to vocals. There are two knobs available to control this. There's the LF, or low frequency knob, and then there's the HF, high frequency knob. The LF adds some punch to your vocals, while the HF adds energy and brightness. And finally, at the end of the chain is the output gain, which allows you to add back or remove amplification as needed as a result of all the tweaks you've done. By the way, I've included a link to the DBX286s and the rest of my setup in the description below. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you have questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. I'm always happy to help. If you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. This way you receive notification anytime I upload a new video. And that's all I got. See you next time.